Taff, a trapper survivor, and the first in his class out of the 10 survivors in the game currently. This mute nuisance wreaks havoc among the matches he finds you in. With this tripwire hook, he can slow down the killer, as well as highlight them for all your friends to see and... oh, he's right there. Okay, well that's not a problem. I have honed this process down to a T. I spent years of my life perfecting, mastering, adapting this plan, this defense. It will not fail. It cannot fail. He'll run after me and trip that wire, and this chase will become easy. Yes, I see it all happening right now. My plan. My perfect plan. Oh. Taff can also use his patent-pending subspace trip mine. This mine disorients the killer, as well as applies his special pink AF filter, which the AF probably stands for as fabulous, because you should feel bonita after being laced by this mine. But don't think you are left out. Even as the dealer, you can still feel the effects of your own product. Now, how should you go about playing Taff? Okay, I would say this is a good example. The round starts, and I place a trip mine here, do a gen there, and ooh, look, the killer hit my trip mine. Okay, well, I'll just do another gen, and oh, we lost Taff. Okay, that's fine. I'll just throw another trip mine here and place a tripwire there, and oh sh. Okay, look, I'm gonna be honest about something. Taff kinda sucks. Now, look, calm down.
You need to leave.
Calm down. I'll talk more about this at the end of the video, but for now, Taff as a whole isn't bad. The support he provides to the team is pretty good, especially when it works as planned. But a lot of the time, it doesn't work as planned. I see a lot of people in my game get mad at Taff for having set up traps to help the person being chased, and while, yes, this is your best bet to help the teammate, you're banking on the fact that the killer actually runs into those traps. And if they know it's there, that's not really going to happen. And if they have no choice but to run into the traps, specifically your trip mine, they can just hit it or deal with the effects, as they are very easy to counteract. I mean, look at this. I'm spending this entire round trying to help this person in chase, but like no matter what I can do, the killer just knows. So let me tell you how you should go about using your abilities. So take notes and listen up. First of all, Taff's tripwire. There are a few things to note. I already explained the killer gets highlighted, but they also get slowed upon touching this wire. And the wire can also stretch infinitely, as long as it doesn't cross a wall. I'll get into why it's terrible to make long wires in a second, just hold on. And Taff is forced to crouch walk to set up this wire, which makes it difficult to use mid-chase. But not impossible. It's almost impossible, but it's not impossible. Ideally, when setting up a tripwire, you want to make the wire as hard to see as possible. And some of you might say,
hide the pegs. The wire is harder to see when you hide the pegs.
And you're correct. Kind of. Okay, look. Take a look at these examples here. Which of these is harder to see? If you said the wire on the left, then sure, maybe. But if you said the right, then you might be thinking what I'm thinking. But let's take a look now. Which is harder to see? If you said the left, then you just need to die. I'm gonna be like, what are you? It's the right. The right option is much harder to see. Making your tripwire short like this increases the likelihood of the killer tripping the wire. And if it doesn't, then they either slow down running around it, or they go on swing cooldown from breaking the wire, which is pretty good in both cases. You can also choose to place the wire around a corner, while still keeping it relatively short, but also playing around line of sight. This makes sharp turns much riskier for the killer, and reduces the reaction time they need to deal with that wire. And the same logic can be applied to the suspect strip mine. You throw mine, it goes invisible after a while, and every so often the mine will pulse, letting its location be known. However, there are a few more things to keep note of. Whenever the killer detonates and gets affected by the mine, the cooldown of the mine is reduced. This is extremely helpful for quickly resetting your trap spots, but the range of the trip mine is about 16 studs, and it takes about half a second to detonate. This means that if the killer spots the mine early, they can just step out of the way or hit the mine before it explodes, which heavily reduces its effects, reducing the Subspace 3 effect to Subspace 1, as well as removing the helpless that it applies. But the Subspace Strip Mine isn't limited to just line of sight. The explosion and its effects pierce through walls, meaning that you can place the mine very close to a wall and still hit the killer, which makes spots like this, and this, and this really good. There are more spots than this, but I'll let you find some of those. I don't want to let every spot be known. But remember what I said about the mine being able to be sidestepped. If you don't keep the killer in the radius long enough, the mine will do absolutely nothing. So when using these spots, make sure the killer needs to run through the blast radius. Otherwise, you'll be left confused as to why your ingenious and well thought out mine placement did absolutely nothing. Spoiler alert, it wasn't a good placement. So as you play Taff and you load into your next round, make sure to throw everything I just said out the window. We just got Horror Hotel. There's one unique thing about Horror Hotel, and that is the ball pit slash stage, I stuttered, the ball pit stage slash arcade area of the map. This map has a really interesting floor pattern, which creates this sort of chromatic aberration effect. And if you don't know what that is, then in simple terms, it's color distortion. This makes the tripwire and trip mine very difficult to see. Don't believe me? Try to find the wire and the trip mine in this clip. I'll give you a sec. Are you ready to see where they are? No? Okay, just a little bit longer. Okay, they are here and here. So if you saw those, give yourself a round of applause. Otherwise, don't clap. You're not allowed to clap. So whenever you get this map, go ahead and make your way to this section and make yourself a minefield. As long as the killer doesn't know how to play Minesweeper, I think you should be fine. All right, and for the last thing that I have to say about Taff, and maybe the devs will catch this video, but Taff's mine kind of sucks. I've had some friends who were unable to play the game because epilepsy mode doesn't affect the pink filter that gets placed on the screen because of the mine. And to some of you, this may seem like a non-issue, but to people sensitive to light, this is a pretty big issue. And look, I understand the mine makes your screen pink because that's what the mine actually does, but people with epilepsy are affected by it much harsher than people without. And one more thing, the disorientation from this mine is extremely easy to counteract, and almost laughably so. This makes having multiple taps necessary if you want to actually affect the killer, because most people can just pull their screen back to the center of their target really easily. Either the effect being stronger or lasting longer would be nicer, and maybe you could reduce that with multiple Taffs being out on the field, but when it's just one Taff, he sucks. He needs other Taffs. But that's all I wanted to say. So so get out there and punish those no good killers. do it for Builder Man, because that is what Taff would do. Thank you for making it to the end of this video. The comments on the last video seem to like this kind of style from my videos, so I aim to do this across more videos regarding Forsaken. And even if you don't like the comment, a subscribe or a like would convey the same message, and it would really mean the world to me. I hope you guys have enjoyed this guide, and I'll be seeing you some other time. Take care.